All right, welcome back. So the first thing you're going to notice when you open this up at the top, you've got your student name and your teacher name. So that student name, that should be you. Your teacher name will be whoever your instructor is for the live version of this class.
Yeah, you can just leave that blank for now. When you're done with these online versions of the course, you're then going to sign up for a live class with an actual instructor. Use the instructor's name then when you're working on the file then.
Before we really get into the rest of this design, I want to make sure you remember one very important thing. This design is your exam file. At the end of the class, you need to upload your final exam, right? This is your final exam. As we fill out everything throughout the class, this is what you're going to actually turn in. So, as we go through the class, make sure you save the file, have autosave on, so that you don't lose everything and then have to go back and go through the videos and remember what Jacob said to do in each part.
Wait, back up. You said autosave. Everybody might not know what autosave is. What's autosave?
Autosave is very, very important and very helpful. If your laptop crashes, you're going to lose everything if you don't have autosave on with some periodic save times. So we'll want to make sure we jump into File, Preferences, Mode, Periodic, and then you can set that to whatever time you want allotted for each save.
A little bit of understanding what's happening under the hood with autosave. You may be familiar with other programs where the autosave will save an actual version of your file that you can find in the folder, the downloads. That's not what's happening with Q-SYS. With Q-SYS, it sort of saves your information in a meta file in its own data. And what's interesting is the very last thing that Q-SYS does when you shut it down naturally is it deletes that metadata, which means that if the program did not shut down naturally because your laptop crashed or something like that, then that metadata still exists. So the very first thing that it does when Q-SYS launches is it checks to see if that metadata exists at all. And if it does, then it knows that something went wrong and it asks if you want to reload it. So it's a little bit different than what autosave might mean if you're used to other applications. So make sure that you're aware of that. When you boot it up, it'll ask you, hey, do you want to use this if it crashed? And if you say no,
It's gone.
it's gone.
So let's jump back into the schematic. We'll see what we have. Now, everything that we talked about previously in that last video, hardware-wise, we'll see all of the components for them here. We've got our microphone in. We've got 4 lines coming in. Now, you can tell that this is sort of a typical conference room setup, right? We have our gating automatic mic mixer. We've got some gain components that we have set up. Over here, we have some background music. We know that over here, we're sending audio all the way out to the room through those amplifiers. We're also sending some audio to our far end collar, which will be established using the USB speakerphone in and out. So back over here, let's jump down. We can also see we have the local switching for our video. We have our 3 HDMI inputs. There's our laptop 1, laptop 2, and our wireless presentation. And then we are sending those out to our 2 displays, our left and our right. We can also see we're breaking off some audio here. We're sending those to the room as well. We also have our 2 cameras. That's our left and our right camera we talked about previously, the NC1280s. We have a MediaCast router, so we are sending those to the video bridge, and we can decide which one we want routed there at any given time. That's probably something we'll want to give control to our end user for, huh? And then down here, we have a few status elements that we will be looking at later. Over here on the left, we have a lot of open space. Actually, if I just kind of zoom out, scroll down, you'll see a lot of this space is empty. Well, that's because that's what we're going to be filling out throughout the rest of the class, right? We're going to make sure that we have video routing controls. We're going to make sure we have room controls for our lighting and our shades. We want to make sure we develop some control for our video devices. So that's going to be not only the sources, but our 2 displays as well. Down here we have camera presets for our left and right cameras. And then we have a UCI layer controller. Now that's going to have to do with how we actually control the navigation and the flow of the UCI for the end user. And then below that, a few other pieces that we'll kind of get back to later. But just so you're aware, we are going to be using an emulator in this class so that we can kind of see how these things work. Since we're not actually hooking up to any hardware in this situation, we still want to make sure that everything we're doing works and looks cool.
This emulator, by the way, that he keeps talking about, it's nothing fancy. It's literally just a UCI that's in the design already. It's a picture of a conference room, and we have different layers that will become visible or invisible based on the activity of the room. We know that you're not connecting to real hardware right now, but we want you to have the same experience as if you were commissioning this system live. So that way you can keep an eye on that emulator UCI and see when the lights come on, and you can see when the shades move down, and you can see how the cables get plugged in and things like that. You'll see that throughout the course. I do have one question though, Jacob. My application looks completely different than yours. It's got like dark edges and is glowing blue in the middle. What is going on here?
It's the multiverse.
That's right, there are two different modes that you can actually see design or work with Designer in, the light mode and the dark mode. My version is in the light mode currently. The version that Nate's describing is the dark mode. If you want to switch those, if you hit that, it actually switches between the two. So you can, if your eyes handle this mode better, work with this one. Otherwise, you can work with the classic.
I'm actually going to leave mine in dark mode, actually, because throughout the rest of the videos, we might jump to my design every now and then as I show you some different things. That way you can tell the difference between which is my design and which is Jacob's. I know that the background looks kind of crazy, but I can actually go down here and unlock the background and then delete it. If I do that, this actually looks a little bit better. So I think I'll probably keep it like that.